Hi, it's Heather, and today is a very good day for an adventure in gardening. So as you can see behind me, we had our first frost last night. It was a light frost, and I've covered the tropicals, and yes, I am one of those people who waits until the very last minute to take my plants in the house, my house plants, my tropical plants, the citrus plants, and all the things that don't survive winter here in Connecticut, Zone 6. So, you know what, I drag my feet and I try to pretend that the season's not ending as long as possible for these larger things that I have to drag inside. Behind me are things that I've just covered with frost blankets, the olive, the citrus, some bougainvillea, some jasmine, things that really can take the cooler temperatures. It was 37 degrees this morning though, and the real feel was 41 though, but it was still a frost out here. So this weekend was super busy for us. Had a lot of things that we were trying to accomplish, which I'm going to show you some of them in a few minutes. But and I wasn't paying attention to the weather, and the sun was starting to set, and I got a phone call from my sister asking about her peppers, if they would still, if I thought we had time to, that they would still ripen. And then I'm thinking about her question after, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I didn't check the weather. What is she talking about? I'm afraid that there really isn't time left for too much to happen as far as vegetables go, and I'm at peace with that right now. It's been one of those seasons that we've had very, very, very little rain. I mean, like, I'm going to show you how dry it's been here. It's crazy. And the pressure on me to keep the plants alive, I mean, I hand water everything because that's how we're set up right now. And it took hours just to keep things alive and dumping gallons and gallons and gallons of water on the ground. Now, with that said, the gardening season is never over. It's never over unless you decide that it's over. So there's plenty of things still left to do, plenty of vegetables still in the ground that are going to feed us for a while. It's just, you know, the more tender things like the peppers and the tomatoes, they're probably done. The tomatoes change flavor once a frost has hit them. I mean, they're still tomatoes and they still taste good, but whatever. But so anyway, so last night I did this mad dash as the sun was setting, and I made decisions really quick, and I put the begonias and the coffee plant in the greenhouse. The bromeliads I put in the greenhouse. I took the philodendrons and I moved them inside really quick because I thought they're going inside sooner than other things anyway. But I left the things that could take it outside just for my own benefit, so I didn't have to, rush around too much. I haven't taken the covers off, and it was not this windy last night because I saw this morning as I was out here kind of trying to hose down the frost off of like the elephant ears and the dahlias, trying to wash the frost off. We'll see if that works. We'll check up on them later. But I was out here really early doing that, and the blankets were still perfectly in place, so I'm pretty sure they're going to be okay. I'm going to spend this week getting the inside ready for them to come back in from summer camp. So it has been a crazy few weeks for me. And I've neglected things like weeding and deadheading and things like that because I've had some big projects that I've been trying to accomplish. And I felt like I had very little time to do it, and I'm going to show you what I'm talking about. So we're going to go take a walk now. Okay, so this hill, right, this is my most recent thing. And I'm going to walk down here in a few minutes and show you why this is the year. This is the time for me to clear this hill behind me. Now I'm trying not to get too close. See that log right there that's out in the water? That is an old tree that somebody dropped there a long time ago. We've been on this property now for 19 years. And I have had this hill cleared one time. It was when we first moved in, and but that tree that has been there, and now there's turtles right out there right now, and so if I get any closer, they're gonna all plop into the water. But I'm leaving that in there, obviously. I'm not taking it out, that's for sure. we've taken a few trees, smaller trees out this year, and oh my word, talk about heavy and petrified wood. So this has been this is a project that my husband and I have been working on. So it is a hill that goes straight down into the water. So this hill right here was covered in wild rose bushes. I mean, oh, big ones, like this, with limbs the size of or branches the size of my wrist, and they were going down into where the water used to be. So I did this clearing all by myself, and I took one short little video when I was a third of the way through that I'll show you. But you couldn't see the water from here. You could not see any of this. That's how thick this brush was on this hillside. And so when I was growing up, I knew we didn't use bad words. Couldn't use the words that my dad had used all the time. We knew that. But my grandmother, man, she used some colorful phrases that I thought were just like, I think that's legal. I think I'm allowed to say that. And so when you've got briars and thorns the size of my fingernails in my skin again and again and again as I'm pulling these things, I gotta yell something. And so my grandmother, I remember when she would get frustrated or whatever, she would yell things like, son of a peacock or son of a beech nut. It was always son of a something, and I actually have no idea what those things mean, son of a beech nut. But it sounds good, and it felt really good to yell it, and it seemed like the appropriate time. So I was using many bad words, or my version of bad words when I was doing this hillside, and that's why you didn't get a video of it, because it was not pretty. So I've done the bulk of the clearing, and so years ago I had put some of the Hemerocallis fulva, the orange daylily, that grows wild everywhere, or the edible one. I had plugged them in here, at least as far as I could reach, leaning down this hill, because otherwise I would be in the water. I did see some of them still there. And so I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through and get the rest of the bittersweet and all of the little roots that I got the bulk now. I need to go back and refine it, and I'm going to rake it. And when I started this project, I said to my husband, I'm like, oh yeah, we need to hurry, because in case the water level comes back up. The water level is so low. I don't know when it's going to happen, but it's not going to happen anytime soon unless a flood comes through, because it is that low. So I can stand down there and do the raking, and then bring everything up. So I drag everything down and I bring it up, and right here is a big old oak tree, a huge oak tree that is staying. I love this oak tree. Look at how the camera just moved with the wind. That's a much better shot. Thank you, wind. That's beautiful. So this is the project that has made me say many bad words. But the bulk of it is done, and it's almost all chipped. I have a small pile left to still chip. So let me show you a couple other things that are nicer looking than this, and then we'll walk down by the water. Okay, so that's where I was just sitting, by the oak tree, and there's still poison ivy on the oak tree there. Years ago we had a hammock that went between these two trees. It was a great thing. Maybe we'll buy another one. But all right, so here's a little pile of brush here. That's just a tiny one that still needs to be chipped. So in order to get to where we're going, I have to walk that way, or I have to walk along our little beach area and go down here. So let's go down. We'll go down by the beach area. So we'll go this way. Everything is a mess right now. All right, so just to give you an idea of how low the water is, the water's supposed to be here, and it's there. So we actually have looked at this as a great thing, because this lake is very, very, very shallow, and the water lilies have the upper hand right now. So we have been able to clear this little tiny area for our dogs and for, you know, nieces and nephews to come and splash around in, and, you know, people want to fish. We've just raked the old debris, the leaves, there's a milfoil plant, I think that's what it's called, that is like this weed that comes up that it self-sows and it spreads by just roots. So anyway, so it was layers and layers of it, you know, and so we were able to rake it out and compost it, so it makes great compost. But this area over here, oh my word, you know, that's never been land right there. That's, the water has just receded, and you can see my hand really good, right? So you can see the water lilies sitting on top of the, you know, they don't have any water anymore, which is good. You know, we need less water lilies here for sure. But this is quicksand, don't walk there. Okay, so I am standing right now where water should be, and it's just allowed me to just rake and make things better here. This actually, it's been really nice this year. So we thought, okay, well, let's just keep on clearing, and where we never have before. Let me see. So look at the turtles, if you can see the turtles. Okay, so we've never been able to stand here, like ever. So, you know, the water receded, and we just raked up all of the stuff that was on the land, and we composted it here. So, I mean, this has always been, you know, cleared here, but the brushy area really started here. And you can see where I was talking before about how I need to refine this whole area, because there's still poison ivy. Oh, I didn't mention poison ivy before. Oh my gosh, the poison ivy. I have such a bad case of poison ivy right now too. And the wild impatiens, they're hard to find right now, especially because of the drought. But all of this was covered in wild rose bushes, and it was going from up here down into here. It was days and days that I spent out here pulling the brush and yelling bad words. No, not really. So this is it here. Oh, there goes the turtles. They're like, she's coming to get us. So what did I leave here on this hill on purpose? I left an elderberry. That is an elderberry. And I left a mimosa tree. That's what this is right here. That's a mimosa tree. I'm going to cut it back, I think, and I'm going to cut it back so it'll branch out next year. I definitely want that to stay. And I also left one, what's it called? Sumac. I left a sumac. That's that little skinny one right there, because I use the berries medicinally. So today what I'm going to do is I'm going to come in here, I'm going to rake up all of these little tiny branches and bring them up top. So that's what I'm going to be working on today. But I could keep walking. Look, I could walk all the way to the stump here. And the ground is really, really dry here, at least. I can walk and not sink in. But see this stuff? Look at that stuff. That's the stuff. It's like thick and gooky, and so yeah, I'm gonna rake it and I'm gonna compost it, and it's going to make great soil someday. But pretty yucky, right? Yeah. Just years of neglect and us not doing anything down here. So this is the area that I cleared in the springtime. So this has been done for a while. Now I want to show you something else. Okay, so this hill right here is a hill that I have been working on all see. Well, I've actually been working on this side for a few years, and I know it looks terrible. I know it does, but to me, this is a huge accomplishment, really. So these stone steps were here when we moved in, so they've probably been here for like 100 years. So this is where the line stops, because I cleared all of this. So where the cardboard is, this is Heather's way of, I'm not doing this anymore. I'm not weeding, I am not pulling, I'm not dealing with these little stumps. So I put a very, very thick layer of cardboard on it, and I'll keep piling the cardboard on it. So where you see cardboard is where I have been this year. So the cardboard on down to here, because there's cardboard under the leaves. There is a bee's nest somewhere in here. They chased me away, so that's why I didn't finish. So I do plan on finishing this little area right here. So when I'm sitting up at the top of the hill, it'll be clear all the way down, except for this little shrub right here. This is a yew that it's the only yew I have left on the property, and I use it for, you know, for greens and stuff, so I'm leaving that. So yeah, this is cardboard, but this is how I do it. I lay the cardboard down. So this is my daylily hill, and they don't look so great right now, but I put in some new daylilies this year. I can show you some beautiful pictures of daylilies that I bought this year. This is a smoke bush that my husband's Aunt Lorraine gave me birthday money, and I bought a beautiful, well, it was beautiful, now it's looking a little tired, but you know what? It's gonna be fine next year. So a purple smoke bush there, and I have a green smoke bush up top. So this side is planted, okay? So next year it's gonna really look very cool. It's gonna be beautiful. This is just gonna be all daylilies. There's a few foxgloves. Foxgloves actually look really good. There's one right there. There's some mullein in there too, but there's a few foxgloves that my mom had given me. And so that's what's going to be in here. And there's iris in here as well. So, and then of course that's even older. Like my daughter and I started planting way up top. Oh, I don't know, 5 or 6 years ago we started this. So that's why it's nice and, you know, it looks like a garden. It looks like a fall garden, but nonetheless, it is still a garden. So, walking up the stairs still. And so this is the view from the top. I know I shared some springtime views of this hill. It was really pretty then. These are garlic chives and some sedum. Potentilla right down there, red hot poker. There's the green smoke bush right there, and then that's the area where I still have to clear. I'm not going to do too many more feet over, but just a little bit more, because see the red down there, that is burning bush, and burning bush is my arch enemy. It just spreads everywhere. I mean, people love it because it looks so pretty and red in the fall, but yeah, I don't like it. So you can see the view now from the top of the stairs. Someday it's going to be really pretty. Stone stairs, big old oak tree, maybe a bench right there. I always say, wouldn't it be nice to have a bench there, but I really don't sit. So, but maybe somebody else will sit in it. And then my little nature stump right there. So then there's this side. This is where the hugels are, you know, the big, the hugel culture, where I grow the plants in. It's a technique of gardening that I do. I won't show you any more of that right now. But then I started clearing the left side beyond the hugel, and there was another ground bee's nest. So, you know, that'll be, after a really hard frost, I'll go back in there and do it again. And I have one more hillside to show you that I worked on as well this year. But you know what, we'll walk down the stairs together. Because then I can show you, oh look at this, this is little alpine strawberries. that my mom had given me. Pretty cool, right? And there's daylilies on this side too. So I did start on this side planting some daylilies. Lots of work to do. Gardening season is never over. Even when there's snow on the ground, we still dream big, don't we? So this is how the property, I have to get rid of that grapevine. Oh, the grapevine, oh my word, so much grapevine. I pulled and I pulled. See the grapevine and bittersweet? I'm sure it's ready to come out now, but I pulled and pulled and pulled for like, I think I worked on this area for probably 3 whole days. Yeah, but it looks good now. Okay, so I come down the stairs and then we've got this little alley here that totally needs work, okay? But this is how it goes. So someday this hill will be done. Hopefully next spring I'll have that done. I have yet to clear this mess here. I also, you know, very rarely do I say I don't like a plant, even wild plants. I don't like wood asters. I just don't like them. And so all of these wood asters, I have got to get them out of here because they just don't belong here. This hill right here is one that I started working on in late winter, and I laid down a ton of cardboard and then I put mulch on top of it. So it's been clear pretty much the whole season. I had some spaghetti squash that I grew on here. Now I'm not going to remember the name of this medicinal plant. Oh yeah, no, teasel. That's teasel over in there. So next year it'll be ready for harvest. It's not ready this year, but I got a little clump of teasel there. And I think what I'm going to do here on this hillside, because this was supposed to be my medicine hill, is I'm going to do goldenrod and mullein here. So I'll spread some seeds for those on this hill. So let me take you around to a different view of this hill, because I do have some nice mature looking shrubs that are growing here for winter interest, because gardening also happens in the winter and you've got to come outside in the winter time. Pile of brush there. That's my granddaddy's boat that we've had here. Obviously we didn't use it this year because, well, we used to launch it from here, but the water's not there. 1994 sticker on it there. All right, so I'm always on the lookout for ground bees now because they're fierce. All right, so this hill here, I have a witch hazel, Chamaecyparis, just so that there's something evergreen here. But I have 3 winter berries that are just starting to color up. I forget the varieties, but this is a red berried one. Look at all the berries, oh my gosh. So I use these in my winter arrangements. And this one is an orange one. And I thought I lost it, and then it shot up. And then behind it is the male pollinator, which has nothing on it. So it's coming along nice. So these have been my projects I've been working on. So the elephant ears have basically no damage on them from the frost. The coleus, however, is looking a little rough. But yeah, so I'll have the elephant ears for another few weeks if we can get through tonight, which is supposed to be, I think it's going to be in 39 tonight, so we'll see. This salad garden, for the most part, there's very little damage. I mean, things are tired and it's time, but I mean, the daikon radish that are here and the mustards and the cilantro, they all look great. Now this young zucchini plant here, I have them in a couple different places, and I did hose them down to get the frost off of them this morning, but this is frost damage. That's what frost damage looks like. on zucchini. So for whatever the reason, maybe I didn't do a very thorough job washing the frost off or whatever. But I mean, it's that time of year. But we'll see if we can get what's on the vine to ripen. Probably not. Where did it go? It's little. Maybe. It looks like after tonight we've got quite a few nights in the 50s. So. So this project is very slow going, and I have given it as much time today as I can, so I have to go do some other things. But what I did here, and I don't know what the plans are for this area. This is more boat launch between the two trees here, but I cleared all the brush and I leveled everything off right there. And so that's really as much as I'm going to do here this year. I did some raking on where, you know, the water should be and got some of the debris out of there. And then I really worked on this hill here, really carefully going through and weeding, you know, knowing that next year it's gonna really count, all the hard work I do this year. So I don't mind that it's slow. So I did from this tree to right there. That's as much as I was able to do. That little clump of goldenrod right there, I'm going to relocate that. That's why it's still there. But I did find some signs of the daylilies that I had planted years ago. Okay, here, right here. There's one, there's one. Here's another little one right there. So they are here. There's another one right there. So that's fantastic. So I'm hoping that they will grow this fall, that the greens will grow this fall. Because I had mixed feelings about taking all the leaves off of the hillside here, but in order for me to do the weeding, I have to. So let me show you how I go about this, because it is very, very slow. And I just start at the top. So I am looking for a grapevine poison ivy, bittersweet, burning bush. I'm looking for all that. Now this right here is poison ivy. Look at that big poison ivy root right there. So I just take my hand, and of course I have to have a cat help me, and I just start pushing down, and I'm looking for the vines. There's another daylily here, another one there, yay! And then I just keep on working my way down, cut and pull and dig up and whatever. So I think I can finish it this week. So hey, thanks for spending some time with me today. You know, I think gardeners, we are constantly in process. We constantly have something going on that we're trying to accomplish. And that's the most fun part about being a gardener. Dreaming big, right? So, Penny, don't do that. So my projects, they're never ending, and that's the way it should be. It keeps us going, right? So I would love it if you subscribe so we can stay in touch and you don't miss out on the next adventure in gardening. And Penny and I will see you soon. Right, Pen?